The first step in making anyone desire you, even if they initially seem uninterested, is focusing on yourself. A man who is constantly seeking validation from others will rarely generate genuine attraction. Instead, focus on building your confidence, passions, and personal success. When you live with purpose, when you chase goals, develop skills, and expand your social circles, you naturally exude an energy that draws people in. Confidence isn't about arrogance or showing off. It's about being comfortable with who you are and valuing your time and energy. The most magnetic people are those who radiate self-respect and direction. By prioritizing self-improvement, you aren't trying to win her over. You're becoming a man who is genuinely attractive in every aspect of life, so attraction becomes a byproduct of your growth. Attraction isn't only physical, it is psychological and emotional. Women are highly attuned to energy, attention, and value. To make a woman desire you, it's crucial to understand her perspective without trying to manipulate it. If she seems uninterested, it often isn't personal. It reflects her own priorities, context, or current emotional state. By observing without overreacting, you gain insight into what draws her attention. Women are drawn to men who are not needy, who respect boundaries, and who offer a sense of stability, humor, or intrigue. By understanding these subtle cues, you can interact in ways that naturally spark curiosity and connection without pressuring her to feel something she doesn't yet feel. Attraction thrives on perceived value. This doesn't mean showing off wealth or power. It's about projecting confidence, competence, and social proof in subtle ways. Engage in activities that make you memorable, a challenging hobby, leadership in work or social situations, or showing kindness and composure under pressure. People notice energy more than words. When a woman sees that your life is rich, rewarding, and full of purpose, she becomes naturally curious. Desire is rarely forced. It grows when you make your presence impactful, when your actions demonstrate independence, and when she senses that being part of your life adds something meaningful. Desire is not something you can demand. It is something you cultivate through self-mastery, emotional intelligence, and the subtle art of attraction. Focus on becoming someone irresistible, not because of tricks, but because of authenticity, confidence, and value. Respect her freedom, understand her perspective, and create energy that makes her wonder, who is this man, and why does he stand out? When you grow, attract, and influence from a place of integrity rather than pressure, even someone initially disinterested may begin to see you in a completely different light. Desire, after all, is drawn to mastery, presence, and the quiet magnetism of a man who lives fully, unapologetically, and with purpose, self-confidence, personal growth, and living a life full of purpose. A man who improves himself naturally becomes magnetic. How women perceive energy, respect, and value, so you can engage in ways that naturally spark curiosity and interest, presence, confidence, and competence. By cultivating social proof, emotional composure, and an intriguing lifestyle, you become someone worth noticing. Genuine actions, charm, and respect. Attraction grows when it's earned through integrity, not manipulation, pressure, or neediness. The first step to making someone genuinely attracted to you, even if they seem uninterested at first, begins with transforming yourself from the inside out. True magnetism doesn't come from trying to impress others or seeking validation. It comes from building confidence, self-respect, and a life that has meaning and purpose. When you focus on your own growth, whether it's developing skills, pursuing passions, or improving your health and mindset, you naturally exude a sense of energy and presence that draws people toward you. Confidence is not about being loud, flashy, or controlling. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, knowing your worth, and living a life that others notice simply because it is full of direction and purpose. A man who has goals, ambition, and an interesting life radiates a quiet strength that is far more appealing than any superficial charm or forced effort. When you prioritize self-improvement, you shift your focus from chasing someone else's approval to creating a life that makes you proud. This not only elevates how others perceive you, but it also reinforces your own sense of self-worth. Women are naturally drawn to men who demonstrate independence, resilience, and the ability to create positive experiences around themselves. By investing in yourself, emotionally, mentally, and physically, you become someone whose presence is compelling without saying a word. The more complete and confident you become, the less you need to chase attention, and the more your presence alone starts to inspire curiosity, admiration, and desire. Ultimately, working on yourself is the foundation upon which all other attraction is built, and it transforms not only how others see you, but how you see and value yourself. Attraction is as much about understanding the other person's perspective as it is about presenting yourself well. To make a woman desire you, especially if she initially seems uninterested, you need to tune into how she perceives value, attention, and energy. Women are naturally sensitive to subtle cues. They notice confidence, composure, and authenticity more than grand gestures or words. It's not about trying to convince her to feel something, it's about learning to interact in a way that sparks curiosity and emotional engagement. Observing her responses, understanding her boundaries, and recognizing what she values in interactions can make a significant difference. For instance, showing respect for her time and space demonstrates that you are not needy or desperate, which paradoxically increases your appeal. Emotional intelligence plays a key role here. Being able to read her moods, reactions, and energy allows you to respond appropriately, creating connection rather than pressure. Attraction grows when interactions feel effortless, enjoyable, and stimulating rather than forced. By focusing on understanding her mindset, you can create subtle influence without manipulation, and your behavior begins to align naturally with the qualities that draw her attention. It's about being genuinely engaging, maintaining your own independence, and creating an environment where she notices your presence without you having to push for it. This approach shifts the dynamic from chasing to attracting, where desire is cultivated through awareness, patience, and authentic energy. In essence, the more you understand her perspective and respond in ways that respect her autonomy while showcasing your own value, the more natural and compelling your presence becomes, gradually sparking interest even where it seemed absent at first. Attraction is often less about what you say and more about the energy and value you project. Creating unseen value means becoming someone who stands out naturally, without trying to force attention or approval. This doesn't require wealth, status, or flashy displays. It's about cultivating qualities and behaviors that signal confidence, competence, and independence. When you engage in activities that challenge you, develop new skills, or lead in social and professional situations, people start to notice. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who demonstrate that their lives are full, meaningful, and rewarding. Social proof also plays a subtle but powerful role. When others respect and admire you, it reinforces your appeal and signals that your presence is valuable. Emotional composure is another key aspect. Handling stress, uncertainty, or setbacks with calmness and resilience makes you stand out as someone reliable and strong. Even humor, kindness, and thoughtfulness contribute to perceived value, creating an aura of magnetic presence. The goal is not to manipulate or perform, but to genuinely live a life that is interesting, balanced, and purposeful. When your energy reflects self-respect and fulfillment, it naturally creates intrigue and curiosity. Desire grows when someone sees that being around you enhances their experience of life, that your presence is enjoyable, inspiring, and stimulating. By focusing on building this unseen value through your actions, lifestyle, and attitude, you become a person who attracts attention and interest effortlessly. Over time, this consistent projection of value makes you memorable and desirable, even to someone who may have initially seemed indifferent. True attraction is drawn to people who are whole, compelling, and unshakably confident in themselves. Attraction is never about forcing someone to feel a certain way. It is about becoming the kind of person who naturally inspires curiosity, respect, and desire. By focusing on self-improvement, you build confidence, purpose, and a life that others can't help but notice. By understanding her mindset, you engage with awareness, respect, and emotional intelligence, creating connection without pressure. And by projecting unseen value through your actions, energy, and presence, you become someone memorable and magnetic, someone whose life and character draw interest effortlessly. Desire grows not from manipulation or chasing, but from authenticity, integrity, and the quiet strength of a man who lives fully and unapologetically. When you combine self-mastery, understanding, and value, even someone who seemed uninterested may begin to see you in a completely different light. True attraction is earned through growth, awareness, and authenticity. And when these qualities are present, desire becomes a natural reflection of who you are, not what you try to make it.